Hello everybody and welcome to Pravus Gaming. After months of development in the mobile market, Endemic Creations is finally ready to open up their latest title, Rebel Inc., to the Steam PC platform, and they call it Rebel Inc. Escalation. The game is currently in early access and will be receiving more features in the future, but guys, with what we have right now, I am excited to showcase this game because I think this could be a very exciting addition to the channel. I'm looking forward to receiving your feedback. Obviously, I have played a lot of Plague Inc. on this channel in the past couple of years, so I'm very familiar with Endemic's style, but this game, I would say, actually has a bit more strategic and tactical value than Plague Inc. does. A little bit less random, a bit more control, but not forgiving at all. Now, if you're not familiar with Rebel Inc., the premise of the game is that you are responsible for stabilizing a region of the world after an international coalition invasion. So imagine post-invasion Afghanistan. The economy is in shambles, the people do not trust you, and worst of all, there are insurgents actively trying to undermine your efforts and plunge the region into chaos. Your responsibility is to win over the hearts and minds and support of the people, rebuild their homes, and push back the insurgents at all costs. The game is very difficult, I would say. I have not become an expert by any means. I'm only a few hours in at this point, but I have been able to beat all 5 levels, at least on normal difficulty, so I'm not a complete noob. I'm just having a hard time on brutal difficulty. So with all that said, please understand this is not so much of a guide video as much as it is a let's try. I want to introduce you guys into the game, some of the mechanics, and gauge some interest, and if you guys want to start playing it and see more, well then I can try doing brutal guides in the future once I'm a bit better at the game. We're going to be playing on the Saffron Fields. It is the starting map. It's pretty easy to work with, not too hard to understand. Now, once you've chosen your map, you have to choose some sort of a governor or leader of this operation. We're going to be playing with a civil servant. It is the default choice, and it doesn't have any special abilities, so very vanilla. But you can unlock the economist, the general, the banker, the smuggler, and the warlord. Each of these characters have some sort of a special ability that's going to change your playstyle, so there's a bit of replayability right there. Once you've chosen your governor, you now need to choose your advisors. These work kind of like traits for Plague Inc. in that they give you some sort of a different ability to try and give you an easier time to react to your environment. So we're going to be playing with, let's say, the farmer to gain extra support in rural zones, the tribal elder to slow down the start of the insurgency, the support to give me extra support at the beginning of the game, the tax collector to get additional income from stable zones, the chef to keep the coalition soldiers here a little bit longer, and the engineer to build garrisons a little faster. I'm still unlocking all these different advisors to figure out a really good mix, but I think this will do for now on normal difficulty. There are 3 different levels of difficulty. We have casual, normal, and brutal. Brutal is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to be playing only on normal difficulty today. Now to choose a new name for the operation, let's go for Auspicious Tower. Yes, Auspicious Tower is the name of our operation. I like it. This is going to be great. Alright, welcome to the map. Now, I'm going to try to explain as much of the mechanics as I can, as quickly as I can. I'm not going to go into a ton of depth in the implications of those mechanics, because that would take too long. So just bear with me as I explain the best that I'm able to. Welcome to Saffron Fields. The invasion is over and combat forces have been withdrawn. Despite initial hopes of change, the region is unstable and the population feels neglected. The local government has asked you to lead an operation to stabilize the region. You have full responsibility for all civilian and military matters. Now we have to choose where to place our HQ. This is your starting location in the map. I generally recommend placing somewhere kind of central, preferably close to the high population areas because those are your top priorities to defend, but also close to some of the main roads so you can quickly redeploy your troops. We're going to start right here in the very beginning of the map, very center of the map, I mean to say. And you can see that we've just opened up the intelligence and vision of a lot of different zones in this map. So each of these zones have a different name. We have like Charlie Yankee, Delta Uniform, Golf Papa, etc. And each of these zones have different demographics and infrastructure and a different environment. So for example, in Bravo Uniform, it is rural and has access to highways. Over here, we have a rural area with regular dirt roads, I guess. An urban area in Alpha Victor. Charlie Romeo, again, dirt roads and rural, etc. Each of these zones have populations with different needs and concerns, whether that be for education or water supplies or healthcare, etc. Your goal is to provide those amenities and build up the economy and the infrastructure with various different initiatives to win over their support. As time goes on, we will gain more intelligence of these regions and understand more about what the people need. So to get started here, let's take a look at our overview and civilian, government, and military abilities. This looks very similar to the transmission symptoms and abilities of Plague Inc., but they play out a little bit differently. So civilian, for example, focuses mostly on building up support and stability in a region by providing either infrastructure or different employment options or different amenities like healthcare, etc. We're going to start by picking up things like services discussion to learn about what their needs are, but we'll be building primarily on this to build up our support level. The more support we have from the people, the more stable the world is going to become. If you go to government, this is an initiative area where we choose our civilian and military activities from a governmental level. So for example, we can send out representatives to different zones to gather intelligence and figure out what the people need. We also can have anti-corruption measures or pass local militia, which loses support level but at least makes it harder for insurgents to take control, etc. Finally, we have military initiatives. This is currently locked. Once the insurgency sets up and we find out that there are terrorists attempting to attack us, we will unlock the military initiatives and start fighting back. To start off, let's go to government. I'm going to go for anti-corruption and effective procurement. This reduces the amount of corruption gained whenever you pick up a new initiative. Now, that's one of the things you need to learn. So there's support levels, right, which increases stability. Then there's corruption risk. Every time we pick up a new amenity, for example, services discussion, you can see that corruption risk goes up. When we are corrupt, the people don't trust us, so we lose some stability and support, and also our international reputation goes down, so we want to keep this under control the best we can. We also have inflation. Inflation goes up whenever you pick up a bunch of initiatives kind of close together. If you have a lot of inflation, then the cost of each of these different initiatives increases. So you don't want to be picking up too many things at the same time. You want to pick up at least a couple, wait a month or two, let the inflation tick down, then pick up a couple more initiatives from your government or your civilian sector, etc. I'm going to start by picking up the district representatives to get intelligence and also services discussion so we can learn what people are looking into. But before inflation goes up any further, we're going to go ahead and just sit back for a second and wait. Okay? So in the map, as we go here, as we are building up amenities and building up the support of the people, once enough people are supportive, the region will officially become stable, and once the entire map is 100% stable, we will win the game. That is ultimately the goal, 100% stability. And you can see our inflation is gradually ticking down here, so is our corruption over time. Corruption does go down. We can speed that along, though, by getting more anti-corruption measures. And you definitely do not want your corruption to build up too high, so these are a pretty high priority. But for now, let's continue building up support. We're going to go for medical supplies and school regeneration, for example. Increases the support level, especially amongst the hostile population, fast to roll out. Now, these little hammers show where we are currently building some sort of an amenity, right? So right here, for example, we just increased our education services in Delta Yankee. Over here, we just increased our medical services in Bravo Romeo. If you look down here in regions, you can see that there are going to be special concerns for these regions, and it gives you some sense of where you should be focusing your effort and your money. So right over here, for example, in this particular region, they're concerned about jobs. We'll come back to that. For now, we're just focusing on basic civilian stuff, but that is something to be aware of. You want to be building up support by targeting where people need the most help. Let's go for some water supplies. You can see our corruption risk and inflation are going up, so I want to make sure that those have a chance to kind of tick back down as time goes on. I will probably pick up anti-corruption level 2 kind of early. The more we are able to keep corruption down early on, the less we have to worry about it over the course of the game. And again, the reason that I like going for effective procurement is it reduces the amount of corruption you get when you first pick up an initiative in the first place. So there's less to burn down. It makes it a little bit easier. I pick that up early before I get everything else, because I know I can easily spend my money on too many different services. All right, let's see. What else do we want here? Let's go ahead and grab the literacy drive, and let's grab development discussions to learn what people are concerned about for their economy. They want to know what kind of jobs and development and subsidies they are going to get, and we need to find out what they need. So this region is still concerned right here. We know that they are rural, which means they probably are interested in some sort of a drive to increase rural, their rural economy. So livestock development, for example, increases support level in rural zones. Now, if the population is hostile, it greatly reduces their effectiveness. So this is probably not going to do a lot for us yet, but eventually we are going to want to do this. Let's go for school supplies. I like to go for education kind of early on because it's a very fast amenity to roll out, but it's certainly not absolutely required. We could go for outreach office, which does speed up the rollout of these initiatives, which is nice, but I've heard that this is not actually as required as I probably initially thought that it was. We're saving some money, though. I'm trying not to build that inflation up too high. I don't want costs to go up. That just makes my life harder. I don't have as much money to go around. Keep building up that intelligence. Keep building up those services. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick up the livestock development. Corruption is manageable. Just need to keep that inflation down. Eventually, you're going to get some little events like this. So we have a new university currently proposed. Authorities in Echo Whiskey want to build a university. We could spend $4, increase support level, but there's a high chance that costs overrun, and we increase corruption. We unfortunately don't have enough intelligence to know anything else as far as approving with oversight to reduce that risk. I'm going to go ahead and spend it because I want to increase our support. We didn't gain corruption, but it did cost us $5 instead of $4. All in all, I'd say that's not the worst thing that could possibly have happened. All right, anything else that people are really concerned about? Yes, water concerns. So let's go ahead and grab water expansion, building up that support level. Now, at some point soon, the insurgents are going to rear their ugly heads, and we need to be able to have some money for setting up a military or bring in the coalition troops to fight back. There they are. Military initiatives have been authorized. So now we're going to go to the military section. In order to unlock anything here, we have to grab coalition soldiers. Now, there are two different types of soldiers in the game. We have coalition soldiers, which are well-trained, very competent, very well-equipped. And then we have national soldiers, which we have to train up nationals of this country in order to have a permanent solution for their country, right? For the security needs. So these guys are fast to roll out and very effective. These guys are weak at the start of the game and take a long time to train, but eventually they are a good permanent solution. I do tend to need these guys, so I'm going to hire at least a couple of them. Never hire more than 3 of the same type at a time, though. Sorry, no more than 2 of the same type. Once you hit 3, it slows down the training for everything, which you don't like. You can see over here that the troops are training up. Coalition troops are ready to go very quickly. National troops, gonna take a heck of a lot longer. Now, one downside of the coalition troops is they tend to upset the locals. They don't like having an international presence. Oh, we actually stabilized this region very quickly. Nice. They don't like having an international presence, so you are going to antagonize people. You need to be careful about that. I'm going to set up some coalition troops over here and hire another one, which I'm going to set up over here because the insurgents have just arrived in Foxtrot Juliet. So these guys are currently destabilizing the region and destroying any amenities that currently exist. I do not want them progressing into the rural areas and especially toward the high population zones. So I'm currently setting up some coalition troops over here to try and keep them as contained as I can. I'm also going to pick up garrisons, authorize the construction of garrison zones. This is going to basically have a permanent military presence in a single zone that allows us to provide reinforcements to anyone fighting nearby. So we'll probably get a pop-up for this pretty soon once I get a little bit of money. Okay, I'm expecting something right over here probably. Oh, over here? Okay. They want to build a garrison right here. I'm not sure this is a great location, so I'm going to reject this for now. We'll come back to it a little bit later. In this red zone here, you can see the insurgents have taken over a zone. Every time they take over zones, they reduce something called reputation, which has just occurred to me I have not actually explained. Over here on the right, we have something called reputation. Think of the cure progress from Plague Inc., but this gradually goes down, and if it hits 0, then you lose, straight up. So we need to keep this above 0 at all costs, right? You can get more reputation by stabilizing regions. So by stabilizing Delta Yankee, we gain some reputation. There are other events we can use to gain more reputation, etc. But you lose it whenever the insurgents win fights and take over regions. So you got to be very careful about that. All right, insurgents are currently engaging. You can see here, I expect... Well, okay. This little bar right here shows they are currently fighting. We want to get the blue bar all the way to the right to force them to retreat. Usually the troops in nearby zones can reinforce, but because we don't have any intelligence of this region, they're not actively reinforcing right now, so they're fighting on their own. Still, these coalition troops should be able to win. Once you win a fight, though, the insurgents don't necessarily die, they just retreat somewhere else. Cornering the insurgents is a major aspect of the game, if you can. Now, let's see. If we're going to go to regions, what are people concerned about? Jobs. Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. All right, let's go for land rights. Trying to get people some employment options. Again, just meeting their needs directly as much as we can. Looks like they are fighting over here as well. Okay, we're getting attacked on 2 fronts, but I think we're going to be able to handle that. Rumors of insurgent gun smugglers in Bravo Tango. We could have a raid, and there's a chance that it's just a local dispute. We can dismiss concerns, and then there's a chance they end up working for the insurgents, or we can pay them off, which gives a chance of increase in corruption, but we gain supporters. I'm going to go ahead and do this. We didn't gain corruption, which is great, and we just gained some free support in the region. A lot of it, actually, which is nice. The more support you have in a region, the less the insurgents are going to be able to spawn there. Let's go to infrastructure concerns, because I want to learn from people what their infrastructure needs are. This is going to unlock telecommunications and electricity, so basic infrastructure, as well as upgrades to the roads. The more you upgrade the roads, the faster your units will be able to travel across the map, and they'll have a slight combat advantage as well, since they can engage better. So that's going to be pretty helpful for us. Let's go to the government, and we're going to pass PR and Media Office. So this establishes a PR team to communicate your achievements in the region and control the messaging. it greatly increases your support level by multiplying what you currently have. So this is actually a very powerful tool to quickly building up the intelligence in the region. They want to build a garrison here again. I don't think that that's going to be worth it. It's not on the front lines, and I'm really hoping to keep the insurgents kind of pocketed here in the mountains where they're easy to control and corral. You can see here, though, now that we've gained intelligence in this area, these troops are able to reinforce these troops, which means they have a combat advantage and can fight back a bit more effectively. We've been able to stabilize another region. We're looking pretty solid so far. I'm going to go ahead and pass the interpreters and guides. This gets us intelligence in a region faster and also reduces how much the coalition troops antagonize the locals, which obviously we don't want. Let's see, as far as civilian concerns, what else do people need? They just still are concerned about jobs, huh? Let's go for a development bank, and that's going to help roll out investments in the region a little bit faster. Literacy rates soar. That's a good sign. Means that people are happy with the education needs. We have some troops. I'm going to set some up over here. This is going to keep them kind of corralled in this area. Now, one thing to know, it's very important to understand where insurgents are able to travel to, so you can keep them cornered and eventually surround and kill them. They cannot cross rivers. So, for example, in this area here, these insurgents can stick in these 3 mountains, but they cannot cross here, and because I have troops in the area, they can't escape anywhere else. So as we fight back and gradually push them out, they aren't going to be able to run away, and if we have them fully surrounded and to defeat them, they all die, which is a very good sign. So we're going to set up another coalition troop here in the mountains. That's a little bit of a risk because mountains are hard to fight in, but it's fine for now. We want to make sure that we win this and push these guys back. Struggling a little bit, but we're getting a bit more support, so that's good. Now that we have intelligence in these regions, I think they'll offer to place a garrison later. High desertion rates among the national soldiers. I'm going to spend money to increase their soldier strength so that they actually fight a little bit better. National soldiers are definitely weaker than coalition troops, but as you roll more out, you have options to upgrade them. We're going to make sure that we have at least 1 national soldier training at all times. We're going to need a lot of them, and since they take so darn long, the sooner we start, usually the better. I don't necessarily need a garrison here, but I'm going to build it anyway, just in case the insurgents come back in this mountain. So that's now a permanently established military presence in the zone, and it will reinforce just like troops. So that you can see there, we won that fight, and these guys have to run away. Our corruption is a little on the high side right now, but not much I can do about that. Now these guys are contained, so I'm going to try to go, let's say, over here, and fight them here in this area if we can. Now, in order to speed up your intelligence gathering, we can pick up surveillance drones. These guys get you intelligence, find out where the insurgents are spawning. You can find their training camps, so you know where to attack to stop more insurgents from spawning in the game. Also, if you upgrade it, you can get some extra combat strength and so on. So that tends to be pretty helpful. There's the camp, found that. So this camp right here is where insurgents are spawning. As long as we leave this up, more and more of them are going to be adding onto the map. We want to take these out as fast as we can, and they can spawn pretty much anywhere you don't have any intelligence. So very important to be spreading your troops out to get intelligence wherever possible. Foreign rivals are currently supporting the insurgents. We're going to spend some money to damage the diplomatic relations and try to get them to cut support for the insurgents, which failed, so unfortunately insurgent capacity is still quite high. Was hoping for something a little bit better than that. These guys are having a hard time fighting in the mountains right now, which is unfortunate. The number of people dying from dehydration has fallen. Pay attention to those events. Sometimes it tells you where you have a major deficiency, and you want to know that so you know where to build up support. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and train. Let's grab the national arms upgrades to increase the combat strength of national soldiers since they're struggling right here a little bit. Right now, we are not doing very well. I'm kind of hoping that by keeping these guys contained, we can eventually win. They're trying to fight me back here, but I have a garrison that just killed these guys and forced them back, so that's perfect. Let's set up another one over here. We're just trying to keep these guys contained and kill them all. Okay, no reinforcements, no nothing. All right? You can see, by the way, that we're not actually engaging them right now because we don't have any intelligence. They can't fight who they can't find. That's one of the areas where drones becomes very handy. Let's train up another set of troops. What do people need right now? Again, just jobs. All right, well, I guess we could go for vocational training. Let's do that, since that's what people need. There's a garrison, very good location for that. That's going to help in both of these fights. Perfect. So now we have some reinforcements. And because these guys are going to have nowhere to retreat, you're going to see them all immediately die. There we go. Those guys are gone. And these guys are gone. So we just cleared out all the insurgents and got rid of their camp. Fantastic. Now again, new camps can spawn wherever we don't have intelligence. So we need to be sending our troops out here, basically. Try to find any of the unexplored regions, figure out where they could spawn, and preempt them before they become a major threat. We can speed that along by gathering things like civil assistance, which helps to increase local support level, or perhaps gathering the human terrain system, so you gain intelligence much faster from your soldiers. I'm a fan of that, so let's grab it. We're also going to get national travel logistics, increasing the combat strength of national soldiers and also helping them transport a lot faster. The more intelligence and stability you have in a region, the faster your troops are able to transport around. Okay, so here's a fun thing. Peace talks. If the insurgents have control of a region, there's a good chance they will refuse to talk to you, but right now we've completely routed them, so they have no chance of refusing talking to me. If you can get peace, then stability just skyrockets in the region, and you basically immediately win. You can make compromises with the insurgents, and that costs you reputation, so you want to have this as high as possible. Or you can antagonize them to gain reputation, but then they're going to be spawning in higher numbers, so you have to be kind of trading that off. Case in point, transitional justice. I will imprison some of the insurgent leaders at the cost of some reputation, but this doesn't antagonize them, so it makes it pretty easy for me to continue stabilizing the region and build up intelligence while we have the advantage. Future coalition presence. I promise that I will withdraw some coalition forces eventually. We found a camp preemptively. Perfect. Let's destroy that before any insurgents can spawn. Victim reparations. Both sides will apologize. It makes us seem weak every time we compromise, but right now it's fine, because I need to get as much stability as we can. I do not like the idea of the insurgents setting up the party. So as a matter of general principle, I'm going to say, no, you're banned from playing in our politics. So that's going to antagonize them and gain back some of that reputation I can use later. You guys now need to come over here. I'm going to relocate some coalition troops here so that they can't escape anywhere, and then I'm going to move these troops back over this direction and have them fight against the insurgents. Okay? Oh, they've spawned back in the mountains. That tells me there's probably a camp up here as well. What do the people need right now? Again, just with the jobs. Okay, well, how about agricultural logistics? That's fine. And also, let's go for a better strategic communication so we have even more multipliers for our support level. Now, corruption's quite high. High corruption means you lose some reputation every day, so we need to be somewhat cautious of that. But right now, I think we're okay. Let's move you down here because we have pretty decent intelligence here, but all these hexes are grayed out, which means a camp could spawn there. Decommissioning, I will let them hand in just heavy weapons. Again, just trying to force them to not do anything to me. There's a bunch of insurgents dead there. Perfect. Let's relocate these guys up into the mountains, like so. And we should be able to keep these guys contained if we relocate quickly. Shouldn't be an issue. Now, coalition troops don't stick around forever. At some point, their host country is going to say, hey, we want them back. And if you don't let them, then you're going to cost some reputation. So again, having high reputation means you can keep more units on the field. Alternatively, we just let them go home, and then we just hire some new ones. That's also completely fine. Let's see. We're actually doing really well in this so far. I'm going to grab regional census for more intelligence. Again, the more intelligence, the less likely that someone's going to spawn that I don't want. We're going to move these guys over, let's say, here, to try to gather some intelligence in this region. We can agree to a peace deal. Now, this costs you reputation. The number of insurgents on the map and the number of zones they control increases that cost. If you have enough reputation, they will declare peace, lay down their arms, and you basically just win. But if there are a lot of insurgents on the map and you agree to a peace deal, you can lose so much reputation that you basically just lose outright. So this is a bit of a risk. On the other hand, I know how many insurgents are on the map. It's not too many. And I have a lot of reputation to lose, which means I can afford to agree to a peace deal. I lose 8 because there are 4 insurgents, and I lose 14 because they are active in 2 zones. And apparently the insurgents feel like they came out on top because we compromised so much, which loses me another 8 reputation. But I had plenty to start, so we're down to 67, but they're all going to disband, and you're going to see very quickly everyone stabilizes. And this is basically your win condition. Boom, boom, bada, frickin' boom. That was actually pretty darn good. High corruption's a problem, but aside from that, not bad. Not a bad playthrough of this particular map. So we got 5 stars. See, I'm learning the game. I'm getting there. But Brutal is really hard because it's really hard to deal with the insurgents. They're very strong, and corruption does not tick down very quickly, and you don't gain money very quickly. So I'm working on it, but this worked out extremely well for me. All right, well, I hope that gives you guys a good example of what Rebel Inc. is like. Again, there's a bit of replayability as far as all the different characters, as far as the different advisor combinations that you could be using in the game. I think they're going to add in more features, maybe some tanks and heavy armor, as well as some additional maps in the future, if the mobile game is anything to go by. But with what we have right now, this is pretty darn fun for me. I'm looking forward to playing it a lot more and trying to figure out how to beat it all on Brutal difficulty. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know if you want to see more in the future. Also, give me your suggestions if you are familiar with the game. Subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.